Good morning.
Morning.
Check. We are pleased to welcome you all today to Masonic Medical Research Institute, where we will hear from two researchers who have received funding from the American Heart Association. I'm Jennifer Kita, President and CEO of Standard Insulating and a member of the American Heart Association's Board of Directors in the Greater Utica area. Funding research is a cornerstone of the American Heart Association's life-saving mission. It is a pillar upon which the AHA has founded nearly a century ago. The new knowledge and advances that result from our research benefit millions of lives everywhere in the U.S., including here in the Mohawk Valley. We are the largest nonprofit source of funding for cardiovascular disease and cerebral vascular research next to the federal government. We are committed to funding cutting-edge science and building careers in science and research, impacting every aspect of cardiovascular and cerebrovascular prevention and treatment. We have invested $4.8 billion in research since 1949. Current AHA funding research projects total $462 million and support 1,641 awardees. Funding from the AHA helped launch the careers of many of this country's most prominent cardiovascular and brain scientists, including 14 Nobel Prize winners. Our research guides the work of doctors and hospitals throughout the United States. So, if you've been treated for heart or brain issues, you have been touched by the American Heart Association's research. The American Heart Association only funds the most meritorious projects. The wording is definitely making me sound smart here. Each application is assigned to a peer review committee. It is reviewed first by two scientists who provide independent, in-depth reviews. A third reviewer is also assigned to assist with the differences of opinion and to balance the discussion. The entire committee meets to listen to the presentation from each reviewer, and each committee member privately assigns a score to the application. The individual merit scores are averaged into an overall evaluation. Receiving an AHA grant is highly competitive. In the fiscal year of 2019 and 20, the Heart Association received 3,555 grants that it couldn't fund. Just think of what we don't know because of that. And that makes it even more exciting than we are here today to talk about not one, but two American Heart Association research grants that have come to our part of the world. Among all the applications the Heart Association received, two scientists at MMRI are conducting research that will play a role in cardiac advancement for years to come. We should all take pride in this. Maria Contreras, you can help me out if I need to say that better, PhD and the Executive Director, and Gordon K. Moe, Professor of Biomedical Research and the Translation Medicine here at the Masonic Medical Research Institute, received $299,835, a Transformational Project Award from the American Heart Association. On January 1 of this year, she and her co-investigator, Dr. Gulan Sanchika, again, I'm so sorry, an instructor at MMRI, began work on their project, titled The Role of PTPN11, Mutations in Autism and Heart Pathogenesis, to understand how mutations in the same gene differentially affect the normal process of heart and brain development. In layman's terms, which is better for me, obviously, she is studying whether there is a connection between congenital heart defects and autism. Dr. Loanna Santos, a postdoctoral fellow in the Contreras Laboratory, has received a diversity grant supplement in the amount of $133,480. The diversity supplement grant supports research experiences for predoctoral and postdoctoral fellows from underrepresented racial and ethnic groups in science under the mentorship of current AHA awardees, like Dr. Contreras. Every person deserves the opportunity for a full and healthy life. As champions for health equity, by 2024, the American Heart Association will advance cardiovascular health for all, including identifying and removing barriers to healthcare access and quality. Increasing the underrepresented racial and ethnic groups and women in the biomedical sciences is a commitment the Heart Association has made to reach that goal. Dr. Loanna Santos grant is a 2-year award. We congratulate Dr. Contreras and Dr. Loanna Santos and can't wait to see how Utica advances science across our nation and in the world. It is my pleasure to introduce Frank Williams, a board member of MMRI.
You gave her an easy name to end with. I am Frank Williams. I'm a member of the Board of Directors of Masonic Medical Research Institute. And on behalf of our Board of Directors and our President, Right Worshipful Robert Houston, and our Chairman, Right Worshipful David Schneeweiss, we welcome you today, and we are very grateful to the American Heart Association for this grant in support of the terrific work done by our scientists. MMRI was founded by the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of the state of New York, now under the leadership of our Grand Master, Most Worshipful William M. Sardone. The board of MMRI is composed of 15 Master Masons from around all areas of New York State. We are extremely proud of the work done by our scientists here and the direction chosen and led by our Executive Director. So it is now my honor to introduce our Executive Director and Gordon K. Moe Professor of Biomedical Research and Translational Medicine, Dr. Maria Contreras.
So thank you to all of you for taking this opportunity to be here with us today. I can't be more excited about having the American Heart Association as part of the Masonic Medical Research Institute, and thank you so very much for your support. This isn't the first grant I've received from the American Heart Association, and as we heard from the opening notes, I am one of the recipients of an American Heart Association Postdoctoral Fellowship Award. It was my first ever grant in 2008. So, American Heart Association has been an integral part of my career over the last 20 years or so, since I started as a graduate student in 1997. We've been very interested in working on cardiovascular disease and ailments since that time, and we are very proud to be a part of this organization. I'm also part of the Basic Cardiovascular Sciences leadership team and have been just yesterday part of the Basic Cardiovascular Sciences Summer Symposium, which I was very proud to be a part of. So I have to say, American Heart Association has just been instrumental in the growth of not only my own career, but the career of so many others who worked in my lab and others, both here at the Masonic Medical Research Institute and at Harvard Medical School, where I was prior to coming here. So I want to talk a little bit about what the project really is. So when I first got here, I had been working and focusing largely on pediatric genetic disorders that cause congenital heart disease. These are very rare diseases, although they affect about 1 in 100 live births. The rare diseases that I studied probably affected about 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 2,500 live births. But these were relatively devastating disorders that were syndromic, so not only affected the heart, but affected multiple organs and systems within individuals. And we've been working very hard for the last 20 years trying to understand how these rhasopathies, which is what these diseases are called, actually are mechanistically caused and what genetic factors are contributing to those heart defects in those children. These children also, over time, we've discovered, have an increased propensity in developing other syndromic diseases, which include autism. So when I got here, we partnered with Dr. Gülhan Erkan Sensicek, who's from Turkey, also from Yale University, who got here and was working primarily on autism and genetic mutations that are contributing to the disease of autism, or to the syndromic disorder of autism. And what we found was that the same genetic mutations that cause these rhasopathies in the children that I had been studying for congenital heart disease are also contributing to some cases of autism. And so we decided that there was probably some molecular link that ties autism to congenital heart disease, and that launched this project. So to do this project, we started using a novel technology, which is called Inducible Pluripotent Stem Cells. That means I can take any one of your cheek swabs, I can de-differentiate those cells from a Nobel Prize winner, Yamanaka, who made that discovery, and then we can turn those stem cells now into whatever tissue we're interested in studying in a tissue culture dish. And Loanna is going to show you in a short while a demonstration of how we can turn those cells, your cells, into either cardiomyocytes, heart cells that are beating in the dish, or into mini brain organoids that we can study in a tissue culture dish. So using those tools, we can now basically define the molecular mechanisms that cause these disorders and the links between them. So using that technology, we've generated mutations in these PTPN11, which is the mutations that we're studying specifically, that's the gene, and we can mutate to cause that disorder in the brain and in the heart and study the molecular signaling pathways that lead to both of those. So I'm going to let Loanna talk to you a little bit more about her specific project, which is an offshoot of the same basic premise of the project, and her basic biology is going to study not only how it happens in the tissue culture dish, but also in a mammalian system as well. So we can validate it and prove that this is a true bona fide mechanism that we can then treat in human patients in the near future. So I want to introduce Dr. Loanna Santos. She's a postdoctoral fellow who's been in my lab now for just under a year. I can't be more proud of what she's accomplished so far. But the relationship started way before that. I met Loanna in 2019 in Melbourne, Australia. So despite what my brother calls scientists lab rats that were kind of stuck in the lab all day long, we actually do travel quite a bit, and we talk about our science to anyone who's willing to listen, obviously. But I was on a invited lecture at the University of Melbourne where I met Loanna in the audience, and she was there doing a scientific internship from Brazil. When I returned back to the US, she sent me an email saying that she was really excited at the prospect of hoping to work in my lab on these inducible pluripotent stem cells. And so from that moment, the relationship was launched. I was so excited to have her and to think about having her in my lab, and then we had COVID. So we worked so hard to try to finally get her here. But in the interim, Loanna did not sit idle. She ended up working in a lab in Campinas, Brazil, focusing on state-of-the-art, top research on COVID. So her efforts during that time actually were also very instrumental in what was going on in Brazil. But I am fortunate to have her here in my lab. Since she's been here, she's made substantial progress, including receipt of this amazing diversity supplement award from the American Heart Association. So without further ado, I'm introducing Loanna Santos to you.
Hi everyone. Firstly, I'd like to thank you, Maria, for allowing me to be part of her team and for trusting in me like as a scientist. And I have no word to express how grateful and honored I am to have this grant from the AHA that will support our research project that will try to find a link between autism and congenital heart disease. And thank you so much. I have no words to express how thankful I am. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Laura Nash. I'm a volunteer with the American Heart Association and the mother of Beckett Nash. Beckett, can you wave to everybody?
Wiggle.
Beckett is 3. He was a Red Cap ambassador to America's Greatest Heart Run and Walk this year. Beckett is one of the 100 children born with a congenital heart defect. He was actually born with 2 congenital heart defects. He was born with tetralogy of flow with pulmonary atresia. Tetralogy of flow is a rare condition caused by a combination of 4 heart defects that are present at birth. These defects affect the structure of the heart, cause oxygen-poor blood to flow out of the heart into the rest of the body. Pulmonary atresia is a birth defect at the heart where the valve that controls the blood flow from the heart to the lungs doesn't form at all. Beckett has had 2 open heart surgeries. He had the first when he was 4 days old and the second when he was 15 months old. Today, he is very active and healthy. He likes to play in the woods, swim, and just move. I know that a big reason that Beckett is so healthy is because of the research that the American Heart Association has always done. Dr. Contreras, Dr. Santos, thank you for the work that you are doing. Beckett doesn't have autism, but just like he's been helped by the Heart Association research, I know that there are families out there, or families that don't even exist yet, who will be helped by the work that you are doing today, right here in Utah. Every year, we are part of the America's Greatest Heart Run and Walk. We raise money for Beckett's future, for the future of children born with congenital heart defects, and everyone who faces a cardiovascular threat. Thank you all.
So I'm going to show you now what we do in the lab. So this is my babies, actually. As Maria said before, we can take a cell from your body and modify them to differentiate in any tissue we want to. In this case was cardiomyocytes. So I took a cells, give them the right compounds, and then they start beating a dish. So this is the most exciting thing when it happens, because it means that I did my job properly and we can follow with the research as well. And here it's a video of a brain organoid. Here on this side, on your left side, right side, you can see the brain organoids in a dish. And on your left is an image. We use like the confocal to see the structure of the brain organoid from inside. So they are tiny, and we slice them and look what's going on inside the brain organoid to see, to connect the finds we found using the cardiomyocyte and also the brain organoids, what they have in common. So that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Contreras and Dr. Santos, Mr. Williams, and the Nash family, and Beckett. The American Heart Association's mission is to be a relentless force for a world of healthier lives. Today, we've done all of just that. Thank you. We will be here for media if you have questions individually afterwards. Anybody else have any other questions, comments? I feel much smarter now after today, I have to tell you. So thank you very much for
A little bit more about who we are and what we do.
Okay, excuse me everyone. There's another video that they'd like to show. So it's just to highlight MMRI. So just to understand what they're doing here now today. Left everybody back.
The Masonic Movement Research Institute has expanded tremendously over the last 3 years. I started here in January of 2018, and we've brought in over 35 scientists since that time. The building has come a long way. We started here with a space that was outdated. It was built in 1958, and since that time we have essentially gutted the entire building and created state-of-the-art new facilities with cutting-edge research equipment, as well as scientists that are able to do the most promising research.
We can broaden our vision out diseases that we've been studying, and I think if we expand that out, given our resources, we'll expand as well.
I can't wait to see what the future brings with this growth.
Thank you to all of our donors. The Masonic Medical Research Institute and I are grateful for your support and for standing behind us to do all of our research and for continuing to progress to fight some of the world's worst ailments.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming. We're happy to take any questions or meet